All right, so in this video, we're gonna be talking about the #1 reason that most people travel out here to Midland, Texas. Yes, and that's because of a job, because of the oil and gas industry here. The oil and gas industry makes Midland go around. So in this video, we're gonna be talking about some of the companies, some of the top industries here in Midland, besides oil and gas, and then places where you can be looking in order for you to find a job here in Midland, Texas. Oil and gas is one of the best industries that you can work in, especially when we're talking about the money, right? Now, that's why so many people are enticed and lured to Midland, Texas, because as far as making a living here in Midland, this is one of the best places that you can be. Like, the money here is so good. Now, there's good companies and there are also bad companies as well. So you do have to do your due diligence. You do have to go around and see who it is that you want to, that you actually want to work for. So when people move here, they get incentive packages, they get relocation packages, where the companies will actually take care of a lot of the expenses in order for you to move out here to the area. And that is actually one of the incentives that a lot of people take advantage of and that they like whenever they move here. Now, not only that, you got bonuses, you got just your regular pay, and all of that as well. Now, it can also be a very, very hard industry to be a part of as well. Depend on the type of job that you have and how many positions there are for those jobs in the company that you're working for. You've got blue collar jobs, you've got white collar jobs as well. And so those are some of the things that you're actually gonna wanna think about whenever you're actually moving into the area. Now, oil and gas, as you know, Texas is the #1 producer of oil for the United States. And then now the United States is now actually the #1 producer of oil in the world. Now that we took that over in 2018 and have held on to that top spot for most of the time. Sometimes it fluctuates a little bit in there, but for the most part, the United States is the #1 producer of oil, and then Texas is the #1 state in the United States for the production of oil. And then you have the Permian Basin area, which Midland is a part of, and we are the #1 producer of oil for Texas. And so we're the #1 of the #1 of the #1 in this area. So as oil goes here in Midland, so does the rest of our economy, right? And then we have these supporting industries that are in there as well. Now, some of the top companies here are Diamondback Energy, you've got Chevron, you've got ProPetro, you've got Key Energy. Those are some of the top oil companies that you could work for here in the area. Now, you have the big oil companies and you also have like smaller oil companies, like the private oil companies that you could work for as well. So if you move here, those are gonna be some of the questions that I think you should be asking and trying to figure out what's the best route kind of for you to take, right? So #2 is actually gonna be retail sales, right? So obviously here, we've got Target, we've got Walmart, we've got Market Street, Best Buy, all of the big retailers that you can think of. Most of them are actually gonna be here, right? And so the one thing I will say though is that the oil and gas industry, they do pay very, very well, right? I have a nephew, he just graduated from high school actually, and he was being paid $22 an hour for a job out in the oil field. And so when you're looking at that, and then you're looking at possibly working at, a restaurant or one of these retailers, your hourly pay or your hourly wage isn't gonna be as high, right? And so those are some of the things that make it a little bit tough, especially if you're looking at living here in the area, is that you might have to have one of these oil field jobs in order to actually keep up with the cost of living here in Midland. Because that is one of the things that is a struggle here, is that housing cost, other cost of living is high because of the wages that are here and because of the demand of those things in the area, right? And so those are some of the employers there. Now, we also have healthcare. So doctor's offices, PAs, dental assistants, all of those are in very, very high demand. And the #1 employer for healthcare here in this area is obviously gonna be Midland Memorial Hospital, right? They're gonna employ the most people in the health sector. We also have a lot of folks that come into the area that are traveling nurses, a lot of that. And we also have the Texas Tech program that is integrated into Midland Memorial here in Midland as well. And then lastly, our educational services. So MISD is one of the bigger employers here in Midland, along with Midland College. So we have MISD, which is Midland Independent School District, and Midland College as well. And so those are actually the top employers here in Midland in this area. So I know what you're gonna see is you're gonna see that I have a little bit different clothing on here. Had a little bit of technical difficulties on the video, but we are back at it here now recording. So you'll have to excuse me on that. So on the last portion of this video here, let's talk a little bit about networking and your job search. Here in Midland, Midland is considered a very small town, right? We still have that small town vibe, even though everything has been growing. And I'm just gonna be honest with you, the best way for you to find a job here in Midland is to actually network. Now, one of the downfalls of actually running a business here in Midland, and one of the realities of just having the oil industry here in Midland, and because it pays, the jobs here pay so much money, one of the things that a lot of business owners say, is that it's so hard to find good people. And the thing I think they mean by that is not that there is a lack of good people to work for you, but the competition for good people working for a company is very, very high. And so companies are willing to pay good money for good people. So if you are looking for a job, the one thing I will say, the best way for you to find a job, number one, is to be great at your job. Be the best that you can absolutely be. And business owners are gonna find you because they're going around at restaurants and wherever they are out doing business, or even if they're out with their families and they own a business, they are gonna see great people doing a great job. And a lot of times that is how people will actually get a job here. They'll be working somewhere else, someone will see them, make them an offer that they can't refuse, and then they end up working at a company. Now, the other thing that you could do is there's a lot of internships for companies like that as well. So if you do have the opportunity or the ability to where you can go and work for a company as an intern, this is a great way for you to get your foot in the door. Because a lot of times you just want to be able to start at a company and then other openings will open up, and a lot of times those companies will actually hire people for other positions from within the company. But in order to know about these positions, or for someone to know that you would be a really good fit for that position, you would actually already need to be working at the company, or it can possibly give you a leg up on getting another position within the company. So that is another great way for you to do that. Just intern for a company, work for them for a short period of time, do a great job, and then they're actually gonna want to hire you on for that company. Now, there are also a lot of opportunities, job fairs, or just open houses at different companies as well. And so you can still also do it through the traditional means as well. You can get on your sites like Indeed, ZipRecruiter, all of the online sites as well. There's gonna be job postings there too. But I'm telling you, if you really want to find yourself in a good position at a good company, you're gonna have to do the dirty work of actually getting involved with people and networking, because Midland is still a tight-knit community, right? It is gonna be hard for you to come from the outside coming in and being able to find those really, really good jobs. The thing I will tell you though is if you are a hard worker and you are looking for opportunity and you are just open to talking to people, this will be a great place for you. So those are gonna be the top things whenever you're searching for a job here in Midland. We talked a little bit about the top companies here. We talked about the industries that are here in Midland. Obviously the big one is oil and gas, but there are a lot of other industries that are here coming into Midland. The one thing I'm excited about is all of the restaurants that we have here. Plus there are a lot of more attractions that are coming here as well. And there are some top places that are going to be looking for, if you are thinking about starting a small business too, we also have a lot of places that are coming into the fold as well, like the Summit Center. Plus there are some others that are other businesses that are in the works that are coming to Midland that are not only on the oil and gas side, but just the support of a community in general, right? We need all of those jobs here as well. So be on the lookout for that. Midland is expanding. The next place you're gonna wanna look at is going to be where to live in Midland. I got my top 5 neighborhoods that I talk about. And so once you find a job, you definitely gotta figure out where you're gonna live at. Check this video out here.